Were you one of those kids who'd watch the Bathurst 1000 every October and dream of being behind the wheel, doing 300 kilometres an hour in a V8 monster down Conrod Straight? Did you ever watch the F1s around Monaco or NASCARs around Daytona and think, one day, that'll be me? We did. So we did something about it. I'm Trav, that's Dan, and this is Project Race Car. Alright, so it's not exactly a supercar or an F1 or a NASCAR, but there's one thing that makes this little Pulsar better than all of those cars. It's ours. And we're going to take you on the journey of turning the dream of driving a race car into reality. Dan and I had been filming motorsports for a long time, and owning our own race car has always been a dream. But of course, like with most people, budget was always an issue, and it was never going to be something we could do on our own. So we decided, let's do it together. Let's get out from behind the cameras, co-own a race car, and document the whole experience to prove to people that owning one doesn't have to break the bank. But before we bit the bullet, there was one problem. Dan had never actually driven a race car, and that was something we needed to fix.
Jono Hovey from Hovey Motorsport and OzTrack has been kind enough to offer Dan a bit of a drive today. So Dan,
should be interesting.
You've never driven a race car around a circuit before.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So
something
excited?
I've never done. I don't know.
Yes. You've got to be excited, surely. Like, as soon as you hit the accelerator going out of pits, you're gonna like.
Oh yeah. It's hard. I guess it's hard to put yourself into that position after so many years on the other side of the fence.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
like you don't know whether to feel excited or apprehensive. I'm pretty nervous, to be honest, right now. I can't hear much. The earpieces are a bit.
Going to be pushing for Jono's times. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Sure. It's an awesome feeling to be sitting here, like steering wheel dash, you know, you're in a race car, but this seat and the anxiety, it's like painful.
So you got about a lap and a half.
Yeah, I got about half a lap at full steam.
How was it though?
Great. Absolutely. I can see why you'd want to lap all day.
After that first track day of Dan's in Jono's car, it was a no-brainer. We just had to get our own race car. So we hit the classifieds and found this little APRA Spec Pulsar with a classic Nissan wrap for $7,500. It was 90% complete, so not quite ready to race, but the price meant that we had a bit of leeway to get it up to spec. So it was out to Jono's workshop at OzTrack to get stuck into it.
Yeah, so we got this race car because it's 90% there to being ready to go. but there's still a little bit of work to do on it, which for us and a lot of people we feel is probably a good happy medium. You're not building a car from scratch, which means you have months if not years to wait before getting on track, but you're also still got a little bit to do to put your own mark on it. So there's a few things we need to do, most notably put a seat in. We've also got to do a bit of tidying up of the interior, tidy the dash up a little bit. It's got a little bit of problems that we need to fix up. A few wiring things, finish off bolting back the roll cage together once we've got the seat in, and just general tidy up. But you can see that most of the ancillaries are there. We'll need a new battery, and generally it's just cleaning it up. We've also got ourselves a nice steering wheel, which we believe has a boss kit on it. Check that out. Yeah, it does. So that might make getting in and out easier, which will be nice.
Engine wise, this thing is pretty much good to go. It's fairly unmodified. The engine's in pretty good nick, as you've seen. It starts, it sounds nice. It's had obviously the battery pull out of the engine bay, a few little minor modifications done here and there. But other than, you know, changing a few of the fluids, maybe checking out the braking system, checking out the power steering, this thing's pretty much ready to go for the track day. So nice and schmick.
All in all, most of the work that needed to be done to get the car track ready was minor, but there was one big job that we needed to take care of before we had any hope of hitting the track.
So the car came with a slimline seat, which may not be ideal. It looks pretty slimline, so let's see if my ass fits in that. Nope, doesn't it even? Oh, it does fit in. Oh, whew. Yeah, we're going to need a new one of them.
Replacing the seat proved to be by far the biggest and most expensive job, as it required the existing factory mounts to be cut out and new steel mounts to be welded in, which of course was done by Jono. Thanks, mate. In addition to the seat and the general mechanical work, there are a couple of things that we decided to invest a bit of money in, which weren't exactly necessities, but rather things that we wanted to do to make the car our own.
So we've gone and got ourselves a couple of rims, well 8 rims for the car. We didn't really love the ones that are on it that came when we bought it. Unfortunately those we don't really love for the track day, and we wanted to be able to have our own sets as well so that we could each run our own tyre base if we wanted to. So getting them open now and get them set up on the car, you can see what we've got. Just a standard Pulsar Spec rim that a lot of the guys run. So we'll get these Project D rims onto the car and fitted with some old tyres for our first track day.
The day had finally arrived. Here we were at our first track day in our very own race car. But there was one question left to answer: who would be the first to take it for a spin?
Oh, look at that. He gets to go first.
Bring it out. Felt pretty good actually. I only got 4 or 5 laps, which was actually the plan, just to try to feel how everything had settled, make sure Trav gets a couple of laps as well in case anything breaks. Felt a loss of power on second to last lap coming out of the fishhook on the left-hander. It sort of dropped. It seemed like it just wasn't getting any air or fuel, not sure which. Second lap around it was coughing even harder, so I came back down the pit lane where eventually it stalled back here at the garage and found now that part of the air intake had fallen off. So fix that up, the small little jobs you find as you project race car along, and we'll bolt Trav in now and see how he is go.
100 laps, I think, a bit over 100 laps we totaled today. Over 200 Ks for a shakedown run. We had one little tiny issue that was quickly solved at the beginning of the day, and other than that, it drove like a dream. Honestly, it was the most fun you can have sitting down, I reckon.
Awesome day. I think it was pretty much as good as you could want a shakedown to go with a race car. I mean, we had that issue at the very beginning of the morning, intake just falling off. Once we got that sorted though, just heaps of laps, being able to just push around was brilliant. That last session really had a good time. Got 21 laps in, and averaged 15.8 or something, and did my best lap time of the day. Couldn't ask for much more when you're riding on second-hand tyres, no setup really in the thing, and that was pretty much our only practice as well. So I'm just happy that we got out and got to do laps, you know, like this is what it's all about.
Really need to say a massive thanks to Jonathan Hovey from Oz Track and Hovey Motorsport. He got this car where it is. Like, we could not have done it ourselves. Yeah, now we just move on. What do we do next? I don't know what we're doing next, but it's going to be awesome.
So that's our first track day done and dusted in our very own race car. But how much did it cost us to get here? Well, first up, we're only including the cost of the things we really needed to get the car track ready. So, no wheels and tyres, as the car came with a usable set, and no things like stickers and wrapping, because we want you to have a real idea of how much it realistically costs to get a race car to the track. The car itself, which was 90% ready to roll, cost $7,500. Club and speed licence fees were $580. Helmets and hands devices for both of us cost $1,950. The new seat was $995. A few mechanical bits and pieces here and there worked out to be around $500. Trailer hire was $225, and the track day itself cost $395 for the two of us. All up, that's a total of $12,145, or a bit over $6,000 a piece. Now, I can guarantee that the next track day is going to cost a fraction of that, and that's exactly what we'll be looking at in the next episode. In the meantime, Blendline TV has hours of awesome grassroots motorsport for you to enjoy. Sign up to our premium service at blendline.tv and make sure you click subscribe on our YouTube channel to access hours of free racing content, and to make sure that you don't miss the next episode of Project Race Car. See you then.